Good morning, and welcome to first edition of Ugly Duckling Tarot with Ro. I'm Josh, and you've seen my other channels. Well, we're here. Today is December 13th, and the trick of the ego is always this battle between what's known as the lion and the lamb. Being strong and pushing forward, or just being ignorant and chasing a butterfly, like big cats might do. And the lamb, yeah, well, especially if that lamb turns out to be a goat later on, the little lamb will be climbing on the roof and everything else. But it doesn't know any better than its own nature. So today has to do with this rebalancing and witnessing things that are out of balance and putting them up to sea, while at the same time trying to hold it at both places at once. Now, this is a general collective reading for entertainment purposes only. I'm not a doctor, and take what resonates, but you can't really take it. It'll come to you. And leave the rest. Well, you can't really leave the rest if you got to lead. While at the same time, the things you didn't think you needed, they'll come up in your story later. So everyone's advised to pay attention as they wish, but hang on loosely, but don't let go, right? First, I pulled a few cards to start out, made a small cross, have two cards on each side of the bottom, and we'll go from here. Well, it's the 13th, and ironically, the first card I pull out is the card of Ma'at, which has to do with balancing all things and holding them all, apart from being able to hold them, and how the universe somehow balances itself out. So that might be something that you need to keep in mind if you're here watching this with me. Now, of the zodiac signs pulled out, I need this other deck too, once we get to it. We're given the planet that's given today as the sun. So that seems to be very positive. If you're watching this, then you might be interested in creating something new for yourself, gaining respect and giving respect, and bringing things to life or light that may trouble you, or that you might be able to work on, because we're all growing together, right? So each person helps pick the entire collective up at the same time as we all have struggle days, especially if you're in a position of power. It's either all easy or it's really a struggle being relevant at the same time. Say as a CEO, you have this huge company can run by itself. Okay, then the trick is, how do you stay involved in your own business once it's taken off? Or how to build the same thing from the bottom when everything's your business and you might not have one yet. And we're given two houses, so I guess this is cusping fourth and fifth house. And so the things we need to be keep in mind about ourselves and others is the power of love, our investments in gambles or other games. What does it say about us? Or what is the purpose behind it, when everything has to have a purpose, at the same time as sometimes having a purpose to do something blocks the intuition of being able to do it, since it's a push-pull balancing act. Then it can always change on a dime, at the same time as it's still tied to where each of us is still tied to ourselves and each other. And be mindful of our creations. On the other end of that, we're reminded to do what makes us feel secure and figuring out what that is and what makes us feel insecure. To seek support and to support others in a mental aspect, and in the physical, to focus today on the family and home or base. The house we're given today coincides very closely to this. It's in Virgo. This balancing act of two sides, but each side has two sides. And there's the above and below. And so that the image given is this, which kind of coincides with the face here and how to balance this concept of the sun above, the sun below, but inside the sun is darkness for millions, thousands of miles. I don't know how deep the sun is. But then in Virgo, it's about the serving of others. We can't bow down and let somebody use us at the same time as everything that they use us for makes us more important to them. Even if they forget about us, then everything that's built forward has something to do with it. And so that's a challenging aspect that is pulled into question today. So we're supposed to be focusing on the details of what our relationships are about and what they're building. And supposed to focus on doing only what we must do. All tied to this mirror card. And once again, we have this mirroring of above and below, but the below is upside down. But that's like the dream world, and see, it's all clouds and stuff. But then the two are connected, above and below. And it's somehow, even though you'd think maybe the river's running this way, right? Probably. But it could be running that way. But as the river's running, somehow we're leaving our imprint on the future. Even if we walk away and go back to our village, then everything we interacted upon here changes along the way. But the weird thing is, the one who did it is invisible and missing as to why'd the tide change, or, why all of a sudden did this cloud of mud come by, if you were living in this river. At the same time as having to somehow create ahead of ourselves. And how can we do that if that's a hell of a paradox? We're invited to think about innovation today. Innovations. Necessity is the mother of invention. Yeah, but dad's got to do it, right? Or something. Who's the son of a bitch that made this shit? Look, it's all rickety. Updating methods, transforming old ideas, novel solutions, and this is Aquarius and Taurus, ironically. And I was given a second one, upside down and upside down. It's called Amity. That's interesting. I had a girlfriend. One of my very first girlfriend's name was Amity. This card came upside down and upside and inverted, double upside down, to remind us of our sovereignty and how it is all for one, but each of us is the one, but we provide for all others. And what are we providing, and what are they providing, and how do we work it all out together and maintain a balance? It's a Leo tied to Aries, the two strong, yet submissive types. They remind me of snakes at the same time as just in the way that those two characters could strike, both Leo the lion and Ares the emperor, but the emperor just sits there, but at the wave of his hand, somebody loses their head, just like the lion, where he's all just like a big cat until you piss him off or he's hungry or it just tweaks something in him and he snaps. And then, oops, my bitch and I are going to die. Oh well, walking along, kind of like that river thing. So it's today's everything reveals this balancing act that each of us is working on and has to do, regardless. I mean, whether you do try to or not try to, it's happening, right? So Amity, the card double reverse, reminds us all for one and one for all, friendliness and warmth in relationships, desire for camaraderie, which being double inverted reminds us about our boundaries and makes us think about the past and the future and where things are and where they might be going, especially if there's no way forward and no way back, and just the reflection tied to this mirror card at the bottom of who or what is triggering you. It looks like you and we are learning how to turn around this Thor's hammer Thursday, and to control the lightning, as this card came inverted as a rune. Let's see, the thorn letter D, which is what this turned into, at the same time as TH of th, and that's basically th, or duh. Where's the ground and where's the mind? And every time the ground moves, then it meets itself. And every time the mind moves, it meets itself. But then how do we get the two to connect and be able to hold a direction? And so straight side up, it's about hardship, pain, and focus. But right now we're reminded to let down our guard, even with boundaries. And to realize, I think, that most of the hardship is behind us, along with the pain, and focusing where it's supposed to be more about playfulness in our structure, which has been interwoven into it also, along with all the negativity, if we're talking about the axis. The number we're given for a day is 60 in I Ching. It's about measuring. But that's tricky if you don't know what you're measuring, or you got the measurement but you don't have the equipment or the resources to use to build what you're trying to build, or what you're trying to build is something of mind, and how to bring that idea down to the ground to have the embodiment of it at the same time as how do we bring the mind down to embody things ourselves while having to have a brand or product or some kind of focus. Otherwise, anybody can technically be like, look at me. Yeah, I see you. Okay. Well, what good are you? All kinds of good. Well, I don't know what to ask for if you don't have any things to buy. And unless you put a price on it, I don't know how much it costs. And there's the problem, where one of the problems I'm facing personally. And in a way, I think all working people face that as well, as to how to get away from working for the man and work for the man at it, and somehow find success at the same time, turn life into a routine that is constantly evolving as it is at work, but then or at church, but then to focus it all in on a spot and be the product, have the product, are the product next to, and be able to stand next to it at the same time as represent ourselves, which is also like an issue that actors run into, where they're caught up where, okay, you walk down the street and, oh, look, it's Spider-Man. And then people associate you with something that isn't related to you. And you get caught in a character, and you got to keep doing the same pose, for everybody from that movie you did like 10 years ago. And that's cool at the same time as it's pretty weird. So that's the problem with making oneself the entire product alone. It says bidder measurements do not allow for constancy. But what is a bidder measurement? And so I guess it's reminding us, whatever's in the pot to stew or whatever. And sometimes it's difficult to see a way forward. It's important to let out the negativity and share it, because then everyone can see a point of view and think about it at the same time as, it brings everyone down. Yeah, but if it brings anyone down, then it was supposed to, because then it shows the weakness in each of our minds, especially if we put everything on one person, that their success means my success. And so then I can just kick back and lose myself. But this is like a double off thing, so how to talk about it and be about it and be it apart from it. That's a humdinger there. There's a whole mess of cards. Let's see what the bottom. I'll take the bottom one, the top one, pull one more for our overall signs for today. I guess I'll close up this simple reading with one tarot card. Yeah, let's make it two. That one. Okay. So we're given this 26 card, the second house. And yeah, look, it's got the all-seeing eye on the back of the dollar bill, and the eagle up top in the quarter in two different ways, I believe. It's hard to tell what one of them is, but I think it's two different eagles from coins. It's about owning our shit. Well, that's tricky if it's all our shit, but it could belong to anyone. But then how to stand by it apart from it. And at the same time as there's always a trail of, like Pigpen, of dirt behind, or it comes out in what we do or say, how much we've worked upon it. But then there should be a trail too, but you get what I'm saying? It's an issue to have it, own it, be it, do it, and have all the nasty stuff along with all the good stuff in tow, and anybody can just go back to the filing cabinet, that's out there available for everyone, and pull out whatever they want and be like, aha, I got something against you. Aha, aha. But in a sense, they're looking at, but they're looking at themselves. And the one they do that to is way ahead. But then, like, for instance, you apply for a job and they want a background check. But you can't background check the company and find out, from all the employees what the boss is like and what they think of him and what his home life is like, or the people that you're going to work with. They get to check you for everything, like a strip search that's about jack shit. And then you either get the job or you don't. But then, they're going to drag out how long till you get benefits. But they're getting the benefit right away. And you had to throw away your benefit of being free in order to get the job. But then, in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, since it's your first, it might be the middle of a pay period, you're starving to death, you need this job real bad, but now you got to struggle for 3 weeks just to get paid. And then it's going to take you another 2 months to even get caught up. And so about the time that you're almost caught up, and then you have extra free money, then your benefits kick in, and then all of a sudden now your checks are less. Or they give you a little bit more, but then since you're getting your life together, then you get stuck in this glass ceiling where it's always kind of the same. Even, okay, I got my car, but now the car costs more, but then my income didn't go up. And so now I got less money as I'm gaining money. And so it's almost better to stay at zero and get there all at once, is the difficult thing of how to become a star or how to build slowly from nothing if everything echoes it back, but it's difficult to know how. Now, ironically, I got these other two cards in reverse. We get the Saturn return. It's about age. Yeah. So truly, we're all ageless. And it's not about the Saturn return. It's kind of like what I was explaining about the patterns of going to work or having a job. And at the same time, trying to become untethered from that and not get lazy once the life starts to come together. Or just because, okay, now I get this extra money, but then don't go be getting things necessarily that cost a lot, especially if it has a monthly subscription like owning a car. Where owning a car, it costs you for insurance, and maybe if you don't pay it off all at once, you got to pay for it for the next couple of years. And then insurance, there's automatic that you'll have to pay every month just for it to sit there. And so right now we're in a period of trying to untether while staying connected. And age and the restrictions on things should be releasing for all people as it comes to their mind and body. And we're also given 33, but in reverse, the 9th house of faith, where there's this balance of and trickiness of faith. How much and how long can we go along and hope that a miracle will save us, along with how can we create a miracle for ourselves? But then either way is kind of missing something, where if we do it for ourselves and whatever, then it becomes kind of egotistic and it may lose its value of being able to inspire or support others if it's too limited in a viewpoint. And it's just eventually you can buy it, made it, done it, finished. Even if it's an assembly line, okay, good. Now what am I going to do with the rest of my life? So then it's back to, oh, fuck, I'm broke, even if I'm a millionaire, right? Or getting married and all of a sudden you lose all your friends and stop going to places because, well, you already got what you need at home. And not allowing that to happen. But there's this line that everything has to straddle. And the faith of, oh, well, God will take care of it. Everything will fall into place. Well, that's great too. But at the same time, how long can we wait? Especially if there's forces that are in control trying to help us, but they really kind of suck. Because they don't really provide shit. And if they do, it always comes with these ties. But then after there's the kiss between you and one business or whatever, like for instance, you go in some place for a loan that's not your bank, then that's great. They can get money off you, but as soon as you've closed that loan, you might never need them again. Unless we make sure that everybody's kept down so that all the payday loan places stay open because everyone's too broke. In order to keep generating money off of money, off of money, off of nothing, and everybody's just struggling and starving while the system, is charging 200-300% interest. And somebody just sits in a window and signs their name on that side, signs their name on this side, and then whether you pay it or not, And if all the people that don't pay it will just sell that debt to another company and we'll get part of it back, and that's their problem now. But, everybody that did pay up, we really took advantage of them hardcore, and it worked out for us. So that's a weird balance, right? Before I close this out, let's pull 2 tarot cards. How to create order when chaos somehow is what makes it all come together. But there's always this fight between order and chaos. Because once everything's in order, there's nothing to do. We're given 15. The Devil, which isn't necessarily a negative card at all. But it's the idea that we're all tied to a bunch of different things, actions and emotions, at the same time as having to move forward and help others while having boundaries, but not crossing anyone's boundaries. But then if there's such good boundaries, then how do we get out of our own cage or our own way? But then if we just disappear and let it go, then it seems like we're not worth anything. And who would want us? And so this giving and receiving mode is really tricky. Underneath that is the Ace of Pentacles, holding all the money between two hands, offering it up. There's nothing in particular. Or, well, if you take it from me, then I have nothing, but it's everything. Just $1. All right, one more card here for the collective. And maybe in particular for Virgo signs. We'll drop two cards for the Virgos out there. We have this Ten of Cups. It seems like everything's in the right place and working towards all of this coming together somehow. Tied to this Queen of Swords. And I won't say anything further about it. I'll let each decide how they want to think of that. The Devil on the Ace of Pentacles. The Ten of Cups. Queen of Wands. Queen of Swords. Yeah, Swords. Queen of Swords. Have a good afternoon.